Welcome to Stop the Madness. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stop the Madness. I'm your host, The Kid Plot. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Of course, I'm here with my co-host, Isaac Cotto.
In the building.
Back in the building with another great video for you guys. But before we get started, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you're notified when we make more videos like this. Cotto, what we talking about?
No, actually, I think you're doing a little intro on this video. You know more background about this.
Yes,
what we reacted to than I do.
Yeah, so on the PBD Podcast, Pat Bett and Adam, his co-host, they kind of was going at it. They had a disagreement about certain relationship stuff, right? Okay. And, you know, a lot of people believe, such as yourself, that Pat kind of goes a little hard on Adam and doesn't really show a lot of respect a lot of times whenever there's a disagreement.
All right.
But sometimes I think that it's like, yo, it is a podcast. I know you could be respectful, but that kind of brings the entertainment value to the equation, right?
Do you know the topic?
Yeah, so it's
about relationship, though?
Yeah, it's about relationship. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty much about simps and how the majority are, or not necessarily simps, but how the majority of women are moving nowadays.
Okay.
When it comes to the OnlyFans stuff, when it comes to, you know, being equal, like men and women are equal. Are we really equal? So stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Let's check it out.
Okay, then.
Or
so
should, but they don't.
But that's their problem.
I agree.
Okay, then. So I'm not going to feel sorry for you. Sarah Huckabee Sanders looked up. I told you I don't like that. So if you want to go do something else on somewhere else, do it. Don't do it in a place like this. And I've told you this 50 times.
The gloves have come off. Watch Patrick Bet-David give co-host Adam Sosnick a dressing down live on air like you've never seen before. And frankly, I think it started when Adam went off into a frustrating tangent about modern women and dating dynamics that just sounded like he was whining. Watch this before we break it down.
So there's been this conflation of that men are women and women are men. There's no difference. Men and women are not equal. Why? Because equal means the same. We're not the same. You have this magical, amazing ability to have children and give birth. And you're giving it all up to do what? Make a couple extra bucks. And then here's the funniest thing is they say things like, you know, I don't want no man telling me what to do. Listen, bitch, you don't want your husband telling you what to do, but you'll have a random boss telling you what to do? So it doesn't make any sense to me. So that is the problem with women. This is hoflation.
PBD's married. He's a Christian.
Let's make sure we got some volume real quick. Just scroll over to the right real quick. Let's just make sure we're good.
On here?
Let me go here. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Okay, then.
Or
So
should, but they don't.
But that's their problem.
I agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I was saying was PBD, is a Christian, so he should hold to the more traditional values, which I think is what Adam's talking about versus, current status of women versus a traditional woman. So
right.
Let's see what PBD's talking about.
Let me scroll forward.
Yeah, right there where he's going off.
Okay, then.
Or
So
should, but they don't.
But that's their problem.
I agree.
Okay, then. So I'm not going to feel. So if you want to go do something else on somewhere else, do it. Don't do it in a place like this. And I've told you this 50 times.
The gloves have come off. Watch Patrick Bet-David give co-host Adam Sosnick a dressing down live on air like you've never seen before. And frankly, I think it started when Adam went off into a frustrating tangent about modern women and dating dynamics that just sounded like he was whining. Watch this before we break it down.
So there's been this conflation of that men are women and women are men. There's no difference. Men and women are not equal. Why? Because equal means the same. We're not the same. You have this magical, amazing ability to have children and give birth. And you're giving it all up to do what? Make a couple extra bucks. And then here's the funniest thing is they say things like, I don't want no man telling me what to do. Listen, bitch, you don't want your husband telling you what to do, but you'll have a random boss telling you what to do? So it doesn't make any sense to me. So that is the problem with women. This is hoflation. That is who men are choosing to marry. That's a wife. That's who you're going to choose to have. Hey, mom, I want you to introduce you to my new girlfriend, Riley Reed. Unbelievable. So who's the one that we talked about? You had sex with 100
Is
guys?
this like your chance to vent because you're done? Okay, so we got it. We understand.
What does that mean? I'm done.
Yeah, like
what does
I'm
that
good.
mean?
You've been speaking plenty of time. We'll move on. So,
but you do notice what's happening in society.
Adam, I got your point. You're in this life, so the only people you're ever with is with nightlife
Pat,
people.
you're absolutely wrong. I'll tell you why
you're absolutely wrong.
Yeah, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, so go ahead. Tell us
because
it's
not
changed.
I'm in this life.
Yeah.
Every man who's single is in this life.
Yeah.
I get that you're happily married. You have 4 kids.
That's not. No,
that's amazing. No, that is the point.
No, that's not the point.
Of course, that's the point. The point is you don't know what it's like to be single out there and see half the girls you meet are doing OnlyFans.
Adam, where are you looking for these people?
I'm not even saying me.
No, but that's the point. Though, where are you looking?
Don't worry about me. I'm good.
No,
I'm talking about the rest of men.
No.
You're supposed to look for these girls at church.
What's your take?
Like, I mean, he's in Miami, so it's probably a little bit more prevalent what he's seeing as far as that type of female.
Yeah,
PBD is like, oh yeah, you hanging out with this nightlife crowd, and so you run. That's what you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see that's the kind of females you're gonna run into. But I mean, how prevalent it is. I mean, I don't know. It happens for sure. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking to a smoking 10 and she, hanging out with a bunch of 40-year-olds and she's 24, yeah, most likely, that's what you're looking for. That's what you end up getting. So
you don't think that nowadays the majority of the baddies, the ones that are like, damn, you don't think the majority of them, or at least a decent percentage of them, have an OnlyFans now and they're showing off everything there?
No. There's a lot of bad females that don't even think about OnlyFans.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of bad females that know that they can get guys that have money or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily translate to OnlyFans.
Okay.
If you're 22 years old and you're living in Miami on, Cons Avenue, you probably need to do OnlyFans to be able to afford that spot, right? But the average person that's going to work 9 to 5 or, a lot of recent, Miami's a lot of Latin chicks, a lot of immigration has affected the scene. There's a lot of Colombian, Venezuelan, crowd, very attractive, but that doesn't necessarily only mean that they're doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of the ones that you see on the internet, like Instagram,
yes,
showing off their body,
yes,
they probably are going to have an OnlyFans.
9 out of 10.
Because at the end of the day, the reason why you're seeing them like that on social media is because they're trying to drive traffic to their OnlyFans.
For sure, it's their marketing platform.
Exactly. So that in that case, yes, the social media girl that shows everything off for them, almost everything, because you can't do porn on you can't do corn on but for the most part, if you see a girl in a bikini or in lingerie or showing off her behind on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, she got a link tree up there and it shows an OnlyFans.
I mean, you can, the gym scene, you can just regular social life, not talking about even nightclub, like your adult lounge spots.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of bad females that are not doing OnlyFans. You know what I mean? So, but I want to see what PBD's talking about as far as where does he expect to find these females?
No, you're speaking from your perspective.
No,
you're speaking.
Who do you think has more credibility on this topic, me or you?
You're to being around hoes. You, yeah, I agree. You're around this. That's your market.
That's your market.
Did you see Patrick's face when Adam called her? So here's my guess. A shrewd competitive capitalist like PBD just doesn't want his podcast to mirror what he probably thinks is a kind of male sexual victimhood you see on places like Fresh and Fit and the Whatever podcast. And while I still don't think Patrick's pull yourself by your bootstraps advice works for absolutely every guy in this hyper-competitive dating market, I still wouldn't take relationship advice from someone like Adam, who's comfortable taking advantage of that promiscuous dating culture even into his 50s. By the way, do subscribe to Right Report because I've got some things in the pipeline you cannot miss. But it only got more heated from here. Watch what happened next.
So for you, when you're how old are you right now, bro?
I'm 45.
45 years old. This is how you're speaking about this.
Yes.
So
this is how they talk. So what's your criticism with me, sir?
This is what? Go ahead, tell me.
This is what's going out there in society at this point.
For who, though? In what
For
community?
every man out there.
No, it's not true, though.
Yes, that is true.
That is not true, though.
Okay.
It's where...
What percentage of women did OnlyFans 20 years ago?
Do you know
what percentage of women did OnlyFans 20 years ago?
Do you know how long Do you know how long prostitution's been around?
It's the oldest profession.
How long has prostitution been around?
Forever.
Okay, then. So go to how long that's been around. The trade of prostitution, or whatever you want to talk about it.
10 seconds after the invention of money.
How long have drugs been around? How long has... But you know what you sound like to me? You sound like a little victim. Is what you sound like. You sound like
you're making this about me, and I'm making this about society.
What?
Do you agree?
I know I'm lost. I don't know why he. I mean,
he's lost about what?
I don't know why does he sound like a victim?
So, in my opinion,
do you think he sounds like Adam sounds like a victim?
So, what he's trying to do is what he's saying is the victim mindset is complaining about the marketplace. The victim mindset,
the dating marketplace.
Yeah. So if you're poor, man, it's because my parents were poor, man. I didn't have the opportunity. That's a victim mindset. Mm-hmm. Oh well, I can't get a girl because every single girl does OnlyFans, and then change your situation. They only want guys with money. Then change your. That's what he means by victim. So that's why he's saying all I hear from you right now is.
Every girl's on
OnlyFans, bitch. She ain't no wife.
I mean,
what am I supposed to do with that?
If he's 45 and talking to a 32-year-old,
but that's why he's saying no. I'm not talking about me. I'm speaking
in general.
In general, and he's like, yeah, but you're utilizing your face card as in I'm the representative of that.
What men deal with,
right? And you with money, you successful. And yet you're still complaining about that's a wife? What am I supposed to do with that? Okay. So that's what he means by the victim mindset.
All right, let's see.
No, because...
So go ahead. I'm the victim. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Any guy who listens to this and buys into the rhetoric that's being sold, hear them out. But if you buy it, you sound like a victim. That's what you sound like. When somebody talks like that... Everybody's this and everybody's that and everybody's that. You sound defeated. You sound like a victim. You sound weak.
Well, I know Adam has been crawling up Pat's nerves for quite a while, but I still think it's undeniable that relationships right now are in an absolute breakdown culturally. You can't argue with that, can you? A third of men under 30 lack intimacy. The declining birth rates, record women selling their bodies online, and hypergamy on steroids. Adam's not completely wrong here, but he's just not the right messenger, and this is just not the right place. Besides, the thing about Patrick is he's a winner. He's part of the 1% of men, and I'm sure he does find that kind of defeatist attitude kind of repulsive, which I certainly understand.
If you increase your market value, your options go higher. Then you get to pick and choose.
Clearly.
Who can do that? What man can do that?
Me.
No. What man can do that?
Not a guy who's made it in his life that has status, that has money,
instead of being this
that has
arrogant,
credibility,
entitled victim.
I'm not even being arrogant.
Hear me out. What man can do that?
What do you mean?
What man can change to increase their value?
Every man can
then.
or
So
should, but they don't.
But that's their problem.
I agree.
Okay, then. So I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
But I'm not. You're not. I'm not.
So not to you,
do you
to
know
them.
Do you know what the black guilt
hang on a
is?
second.
What PBD talking about? Like, he's lost. Like, Adam didn't talk about Adam did not talk about like, hey, I'm struggling to make it and all these girls. No, that.
But I think you're missing the point too. Like, in other words, see, what I'm hearing something different than what you're hearing.
Okay.
What I'm hearing when I hear that interaction is PBD is saying, look, that what you're saying right now, someone listens to this and they're like, yeah, that is why I'm struggling to get a girl. Because all these girls are hoes nowadays. All these girls are doing this. Because that's what it sounds like he's complaining about.
Okay.
So what does PBD... oh, man, these girls only want money. So what does PBD say? Well, then increase your value because any man has the opportunity to do that. You don't have to be a multimillionaire, but just increase your value because every man has an opportunity to increase their value. Whether it's financial, whether it's status, whatever the case may be, right? So that's why he's saying, hey... like, if you keep saying this, then you're just giving fuel to the victims that also have that victim mindset of, well, I don't have this because of this. And I don't have that because of the girls being like this, or because girls want this, and because girls want that. And Adam is sitting here saying, well, I'm not saying that for me. I'm saying that for them, but it comes off as in you're actually complaining about it too, because you're saying, look at the prostitution has a record high, and people online selling their bodies is at record high levels than what it used to be 15, 20 years ago, right? So that's all he's saying. So he's listening to someone whining and complaining about it. You know what I'm saying?
But to me, he's talking about two separate issues, right? Like the dating marketplace, right? He's just giving a generalized, like, hey, right now, like, if you're super hot, they're young, a lot of them are OnlyFans, they want to be boss women. That's just a general. And PBD's talking about a different issue. A man creating higher value for himself, and every man has the opportunity. And if you have higher value, you have more options. That's a separate issue. Like
it's kind of not though.
He's bringing in a separate issue. But what Adam's not talking about is like, oh, because I don't have options, all the girls I run into are like this. Like, that's not the issue he was addressing.
But I think that, okay, maybe it's not directly the issue that he's addressing, but they still find a way to meet at some point in the conversation when you're talking about. So maybe he didn't answer it directly, but at some point it is going to intertwine into, if you increase your value and you stop playing the victim, the options of your women is going to open up to where you're going to have women that don't do OnlyFans.
Well, I mean, I think at default, if you don't bring a certain amount of value, if not a certain level of success, that hot 24-year-old, 25-year-old that does OnlyFans is not going to give you the time of day. You know what I'm saying? So by default, to even be messing around in those circles, you have to have value. So that's why, to me, it's like, I mean, Adam, the world Adam is talking about is of men of value, not of guys that don't bring nothing to the table or don't make a certain level of income. PBD is bringing it up like that's an issue,
right?
And
so
he wasn't even talking about that.
That's true, but and also what PBD is insinuating, I think, is what is it that you want? Do you want the OnlyFans girl? Because that's going to be sex? Bye.
Yes.
Or did you want a wife? There's been in the past, Adam has said that he wants to get married. So if that's the case, you're in the wrong pool. You're in the wrong pool. Are you looking for the marriage, that pool? Or are you looking for the single hot chick one night stand pool? Like what pool are you swimming in?
Right, but that has nothing to do with increasing your value.
Okay, well, let's keep watching.
He already has the value.
Okay, let's keep watching. Hit play.
And if a guy comes out and is sitting there and talking about, well, you don't know what the market's like out there, sitting there playing, video games 3 hours, and you deserve exactly what you're getting.
I agree.
If you're sitting out there gaining 75 pounds and you're fat, you're saying the market sucks, you deserve. If you're not improving reading books, instead you're reading some nonsense.
Fully agree.
So to me, I don't feel sorry for that guy.
Oh, and by the way, Patrick put out a poll in the chat, literally in the middle of this exchange, and it seems like a majority of his audience agrees that Adam's acting like a victim here. So there's that, because it's a paradox on the right you often see come up. They're for the free market in the economy, but not the free market in dating. And in modern dating, women just have the bargaining power, and there's nothing you can do about it. As a man, you can choose to level up, or you can stay down in the lower rungs of the ladder, just as it works in capitalism. Though this spat spilled out beyond that debate next.
But don't sit here and say, well, let me tell you, this one girl used to be this. I'm playing all these videos, and just a week ago, I had a conversation with you about how we talk over certain things we say. You do it again the following week. After I had a conversation with you last week. After Sarah Huckabee Sanders looked up to me, I told you I don't like that.
Okay, so he started getting on.
That was it?
Yeah, he started getting on his ass about what topics he's bringing up on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's not a big deal. I mean, it's his podcast. He says, like, these are not topics. We're not fresh and fit.
Exactly.
Don't bring that shit here. Like, that's not what this podcast is about. And if Adam brings it up, then okay, he's asking for that.
So he's still the boss.
Yeah,
he's the one that pays him. So
he's the boss.
Yo, these are the topics.
Right.
We're not a dating type of podcast. But we're over here trying.
That part I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
But the whole issue about him getting upset because of what not 1 second did I think Adam was talking about being a victim or low value. To me, he's talking about the guys that do have value, and a majority of the females he's running across, this is what they do. Now, mind you, he's in Miami. He's not in the suburbs of Miami. He's like in Miami,
South
Miami,
Beach, in that area.
where, man, to be 20-something years old and living in Miami, you're doing something extra to get that cash. Yeah, the girls.
But again, like, I don't think you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Not that I think. I'm not saying you're wrong with what your assertion is, but I actually received a different message from that where, maybe he's not trying to sound like a victim, but anytime you complain about the product and you're literally searching for the same product, you say you want a different product, but yet you're in the pool of the same product. That is where the issue is. You can't complain, I'm tired of Mercedes-Benz, and you're at the Mercedes dealership.
Right.
Looking for a BMW.
Yeah, I mean, if he was in Oklahoma, I'm sure he wouldn't have that problem. But he's in South Beach.
Okay.
I mean,
he has the means to go wherever he wants.
He does. It's true. He does. But that's the whole point. Like, he's complaining about what it is there. But that is the culture there. You know what I mean? Like,
you can't complain that in Puerto Rico everybody speaks Spanish,
right?
And you don't.
Exactly.
Get out of Puerto Rico.
That part I can agree with. Like, hey, if you really don't like it, then don't. But he likes it. Don't
exactly. Magic Cotto's like, yo, man, I don't like this lawyer stuff, man. Then why the hell do you still do it?
He likes it. That's why he stays living there. He does his life there. And hey, Pat Bett lives in Miami too. So he just happens to live on Star Island, on a $25 million house. But it was entertaining. I think Adam makes some points, and it's the classic. Hey, all the girls want money, all that kind of stuff.
But to get back to the relationship topic, which is the reason why we put it, was I mean, if you are looking for marriage, then you need to go to places where there's not that type of nightlife. It's not that type of environment because in those environments, you're not going to find a wife.
It's tough. Those females, when they're out there hanging out at the spots,
they're looking for the money, bro.
A lot of dudes have money.
And they're going to show off whatever they got to show off to get it. And that's just what it is. That's the marketplace.
Don't be surprised. Yep. But if you don't want that type of female, no, you gotta. It's where you socialize. Who's your social group?
You imagine you sit here and be like, "I'm looking for a wife," and you in the strip club. Come on, man.
Yeah. Like, man, I go to the strip club every weekend. I can't find a chick.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes zero sense. Like, no, I agree. It's you gotta look for the type. Hey, you want a really wholesome, submissive. You're the man of the house type. Go to church.
I mean, there's so many.
And you'll find one in church.
I mean, there's so many examples and there's so many analogies you could use to make the point that I've just been trying to make. Mm-hmm. You go to a place where there's nothing but homeless people, and you want to learn how to be a millionaire.
Look,
you're not going to find the answers in a homeless shelter.
Can you meet someone at a social setting in Miami that does have values, that does not sell their body for money, but yes, are very attractive and they take care of their body? Yes. But there's probably a higher chance that you're going to be fine. That same person duplicated 10 times, your percentage is that they are just about the money and doing whatever they got to do to make money is higher in that environment. Is it possible? Yes, you can meet someone that you connect with and vibe with, and guess what? They have plans and goals.
Very low chances, though.
But it's much lower chances. So, but how would that be like? I don't know. What would Tinder and Bumble be like in Miami? Are all those chicks?
Well, I mean, from what I heard, a lot of the girls that are on Tinder and Bumble, and they live in those areas, a lot of them is literally one night stand purposes. They're not even really? Neither one of the parties are looking for something. If it ends up happening, then it happens. But I know some dudes that they literally use it for that,
just for that. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, there you go. Hey, let us know what you think below. Comment, and hey, we see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.